Here.
Mr. Gunther's present and Mr. Valone.
Here.
Mr. Valone is present, Mr. Smith and Mr. Brooks are absent today.
Okay. So we'll call the meeting to order. The first order is to approve the minutes of March 30 that were in the packet. Did everybody get a chance to look at those? And if so, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Howard?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Carol.
Carol.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, wake up, everybody. Wake up. All right. Bills and communications. Jen?
There are two items to be approved on the schedule of payments. The first is payment to the IDA. It's the first quarter administrative fee, and then reimbursement of the Funding Corp's domain renewal, which gets billed automatically to the IDA's credit card. And then the second is payment to Hudson Valley Agribusiness Development Corporation. And that relates to two grant applications that were submitted by the IDA, and we had discussed these previously, in the grant application cost share committee approved these expenses. That was rural business development grant program applications. We haven't heard, and we won't hear for another couple months whether those have been approved. So what's before you is two payments in the total amount of $7,279.16. And then down below, you just see that we paid the final payment to RBT relating to the 2021 audited financial statements in the interim since our last meeting.
Can I ask a question about, before you go ahead, we can get the motion out there. Go ahead. Ed moved it. We need a second.
Second.
Okay, Paul. So question, the domain, I mean, that can't be $5,000 for a domain fee. What else is that?
No, the $5,000 is the quarterly administrative services payment to the IDA. So the Funding Corp and the IDA haven't been, so
Okay.
only $29 is for the domain.
I was going to say, where are we buying our domain from?
Yeah.
Okay, good enough. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, carries. The next is the quarterly financial report that's in your packet.
So there's not a whole lot here. The Funding Corp finances are pretty simple. On the balance sheet, you're just looking at a comparison of the audited balances as of 12/31/21 compared to 3/31 of 22. So again, this is a little old now because it's quarterly, but we haven't met. The couple things I would point out on the balance sheet, you see capital assets with a value of $319,800. That's the landfill expansion parcel that the Funding Corp took title to back in 2021. The value that's assigned is the value that the county had it booked at on their fixed asset schedule. So that's the $319,800. Otherwise, it's just cash and notes receivable, and those are our Millennium revolving loans.
And on the $319,800, or whatever value is ascribed to the landfill phase 2 parcel, it really is not an asset that will be an IDA or a Funding Corp asset long term. When that's sold, that money will be paid back to Sullivan County.
Right.
Is it, are they selling it, or is it, what is the status of that?
We're in contract. The Funding Corp is in contract to sell it. The prospective buyer is the owner of the former ARC building next door. The prospective buyer has a commercial and industrial subdivision application in progress before the Village of Monticello, and a condition of closing is that they get approval to move ahead with a development at the site, and that they commit to spending a certain amount of money, which I don't remember, but it was a significant amount of money. Jen, do you recall?
I'm sorry, what the purchase price will be?
The amount of money that they must spend on a project in order to meet a condition of closing in order for them to get title from the Funding Corp.
I'm sorry, I do not.
That's not the Apollo Mall piece, right?
It's behind it. It's behind the Apollo Mall.
Okay.
What are they gonna do with it?
They are building well, what they say they're going to do with it is that they will be building an ice plant there.
Right.
The owner owns Apple Ice, and he now has ice plants in New York City, I believe in the Bronx and in Columbia County. So they're moving a very heavy, low value product a lot of miles to get it distributed. They're cross docking at the old ARC building into some local routes, but the ice is coming from elsewhere. They will be manufacturing the ice at the new plant they build on one of the lots in this commercial industrial subdivision
This is the one we've discussed before, right?
many times.
$2 million is the minimum estimated project cost, inclusive of the
Like
land
6 months worth
cost.
of gas to truck it.
They're lucky that they're doing this, Howard, as you observe, because right now they have very long routes.
Yep.
And they had long routes when diesel fuel was $2.25 a gallon. And I think Mr. Vallone can tell you that's no longer the case.
Mess. He had to sell the pictures on the wall to pay his last gas bill.
Boy, nothing gets by you, Howard.
All right, on that note, maybe Jen, you want to move on to the income statement?
Sorry.
You want to move on? Are you gonna, is there more to talk about? Or
The only other thing I wanted to mention is, as you look at the profit and loss, that lists all of our loans. And I wanted to just let you know that we have had a few of our revolving loans paid off, satisfied since the end of 2021. And that's Country House Realty, Fat Lady, and RH Campus. So we have our Millennium Revolving Loan Fund is doing really well. Those loans are performing and they're getting paid off.
Right.
I gotta tell you, that's just great to hear that, seriously.
it really is.
Well, and 2 of those were paid off early.
Yes.
Did the Fat Lady get sold?
Yes.
So it's now no longer a restaurant, right? It's now someone's home.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. All right.
The
Okay.
guy that bought the Fat Lady owns cafes on Long Island.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know if he made it a home up here, but in the Hamptons.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Susie, you're not coming through.
Sorry, I don't know my computer. If I stand off to the side, it does that. Can you hear me now? Okay,
We can hear you now.
perfect. So can I have a motion to approve the financial report?
I'll move it.
Second,
Okay, Ed, second, Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, approved. We now move on to our one item of business today, which is a resolution related to the Series 2011 bonds for the Center for Discovery Project. Walter, anything you want to say on this? I know
Well,
you've been very busy.
let's start out by saying that Mr. Siegel will be abstaining from participating in the discussion or the vote on this resolution. Maybe the best thing to do is get a motion in a second, get it on the floor, and then I can
Sure.
answer any questions. There may not be any because it's pretty straightforward, but
Yeah. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
so moved.
Paul,
Second.
I'll second it.
second, Ed, or Carol, take your pick. Okay, discussion.
Well, I just want to say that it's apparently pretty complex, and this is certainly a time where I personally appreciate having Walter's diligence and guidance on this. And that satisfies me.
Yeah, for sure. I signed 59 signature pages yesterday just related to this.
and you've got another.
And I have to go back now and
There's-
do more.
There's 36 more today, Susie.
I
so-
mean, the amount of paperwork and the amount of effort that has gone into this by Walter and
Well,
Sue
and
is incredible.
and lots of other lawyers. We're just, what we don't know yet, the amount of the original bonds issued in 2011 is set forth in the second whereas clause. What we don't know today, and we won't know until tomorrow, and we'll fill in the blanks on the documents that Susie signed yesterday when we know, is the exact amount of the reissue. And the reason for that is the interest rate will be set 2 business days prior to the closing, which is June 1. 2 business days prior to next Wednesday is Monday, which is Memorial Day. Banks are closed. Sunday, banks are closed. Saturday, banks are closed. So 2 days before the closing is actually tomorrow, Friday. So we will know from Webster Bank and TD Bank, and their rate may be the same and it may be different. We will know tomorrow the interest rates and be able to fill in all the blanks that are in all the bond documents when the interest rates are set.
Okay. So we're voting to approve it subject to that information, you know.
You're voting to approve it, and the way I drafted the resolution in section 2, you, Susie, as the authorized officer, are authorized to make those changes to fill in those blanks.
Got it.
I'll be happy to help you with it, but you're the person.
Okay.
Susie, I hope you realize that it's your profession that created this monster. That means you have to sign it 57 times.
You can keep laughing, Mr. Gunther. Your day is coming.
It's poetic justice.
Wait, who's the vice chair here?
Mr.
No,
Sykes.
I am fully committed
is
to I'm fully committed to the food hub.
Uh-huh. All right. So obviously we've talked about this a bunch of times. This resolution, is authorizing the execution and delivery of an amended and restated indenture of trust, which amends and restates the certain indenture of trust dated December 1, 2011. That's what we're voting on. And does anyone have any other questions for council before we?
Walter, I have a question. How many bonds are outstanding? I know we've amended.
Okay, I'm prepared to answer that. There were originally 12 different, there were 2 different series and 2 different sub-series. And within each series, there were originally 6 bonds, and they were split into sub-series, half of them purchased by TD Bank, half of the face amount. The other half of the face amount were purchased by Citizens Bank. Citizens is, in effect, exiting the deal. This is really a reissue of the bonds. There was a call date of last December 1st. And if you recall, Ed, we pushed out the call date to April 1st and then pushed it out again to June 1st. So in effect, the bonds are being repaid and reissued. So,
Okay.
But the taxable bonds, the Series F bonds, are now paid in full. So there will be 10 different bonds. There'll be 5 different series, A, B, C, D, and E. And in each sub-series, there'll be an A and a B, or a 1 and a 2. And the Series 1s will be purchased by TD Bank, and the Series 2s will be purchased by Webster Bank. So there's 10 different bonds.
And approximately how much debt?
The original issue of the bonds was 69,710,000. And it's looking like the amount will be between 32 and 33 million that remains open, about 16 million and change for each lender.
Okay.
The Series F bonds have been repaid in full. And of course, there have been payments made based upon an amortization schedule much greater than the 10-year call date on the other bonds.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions?
If I may, Walter, with the rising interest rates, what's the incentive for the banks to buy these bonds? Are they increasing the coupon or?
The rates have not been set yet. These bonds will be triple tax exempt to these 2 banks. And the rate will be appropriate based upon the interest rate on the interest rate tomorrow. We don't know what the interest rate is going to be. It's a lot more than it would have been if they had got this closed last December 1st,
Right.
but it may not be much different than what it was on December 20th of 2011 when Ed and I spent the entire day at 100 Wall Street. Ed, do you remember?
I do. I do. And I don't feel a bit sorry for Susan because I was surrounded by about 50 lawyers that day.
Hmm.
And it was just sign here, Ed, sign here.
Ed, I'm smart enough not to go when they're there. I go later. I go when no one's there.
Talk about bitter. That's how many years ago? A decade ago, Ed?
Oh, it's more than that. And you know what? They picked me up in a limousine and they sent me home with a bottle of wine. Remember that, Walter?
Oh, yeah. We tried to treat you right, Ed, you know?
How many bottles of wine did you get, Susan?
None. Hey, what's that all about?
Oh, God.
No, that's okay. Prefer none. Okay, any other questions, comments? In that case, then let's call the question. All in favor of approving the resolution? Say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Aye.
And we'll note again that Howard abstained.
I'd like to say I'd like to reiterate what Phil said in a really huge way, because the enormity of and complexity of this and Walter's shepherding of all of the other attorneys and keeping them focused, because a lot of them were junior and mid-level attorneys. And his knowledge of this is just outstanding. And the work that he put in, I think, is probably way above what any normal situation would be, even with his strong infrastructure. So we thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Further, Senator.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Country lawyer too, to boot.
Right, to boot. The
Thank
only
you,
country-
Howard.
The only country part of Walter is his shoes as an attorney.
Thank you, Howard.
Excellent. Okay, so with that, we go to public comment. I don't see any member of the public. Am I correct, Jen?
That's correct.
Okay, so with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Bill, second call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Carol,
Aye.
Carol, where are you to get this to you to certified?
I'm at the office at the county. Yeah,
All right, Jen.
I'm at the government center.
All right, Jen, you know what to do, right? Come here, get it, bring it to Carol. Appreciate
Yes.
it. Thank you all.
I'll give you a call.
Walter, I'll be
Ew.
there in a little while, okay? Within about a
Okay.
half an hour or so.
All right,
No
very good.
problem.
Oh, no,
Thank
I'm gonna come after you told me, right, Walter?
Yeah, come after.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.